What's up, everybody? We're at it again. SoCal in the house. What's up? Welcome to Wellness Wednesdays here on the Wellness Week channel on YouTube, Facebook Live. What's up, everybody on Facebook? Bam, how you doing? Here we are again with our resident biochemist, Magnus, and myself, DJ Anthony. It says it right there, so you know it's factual. I'm a DJ if it says it. Okay, so Magnus, how's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. I gotta get myself a hat too. Yeah, I'm thinking of you. I'm like, I gotta get myself like a cool rimmed hat too, and I gotta stop rocking these daddy sweaters. I look like a middle-aged loser, so I need to get myself some cool t-shirts. And go ahead, Magnus.
Well, you're on the East like East Coast up north. I'm on this like southern cup of California. So I mean, it's quite different. Even if our nights are starting to get cold, but I mean it's. What snow?
And the thing is, I am the DJ. You're the biochemist. You should be dressing like me. I should be dressing like you. I'm supposed to be cool and whatever. I look like some.
You're cool. Like, the clothes doesn't. Hey, but at least I'm representing the East Coast with my old dirty bastard T-shirt.
Oh man, I tell you, there's not many songs you can play in public that he raps to. But
hell no.
Gotta get me my money. All right, so. So today we're going to be talking about a couple different topics. Number one, COVID and our health beyond the shot, beyond the mask, supplements, and the death pods of Switzerland. Dun, dun, dun. So let's start off with COVID, and we touched upon it. And we're not, by the way, we're not giving medical advice. Listen to your doctors. This is not a show about medical advice. It's just a conversation. I always have to stipulate that. But we're just having conversation. So COVID, and I'm not even talking about should you get a shot, not get a shot? We're not talking about that.
Yeah, let's skip that topic. I'm so over that. I don't even want to touch it.
My thing is let's assume you got the shot, you wear the mask. My thing is, but that's not healthcare. And I know it's probably a little rhetorical here, but healthcare is getting a shot, wearing a mask, not licking doorknobs. That's the absolute whatever least someone can do. That's a partial protection against COVID. What people really need to do is your health care, what you eat, how long you sleep, how you sleep, exercise, weight management, nutrition. That is your health care. That's what's going to give you, I would make the argument, an amazing advantage over any illness, So, but because it's funny, we all know people who like, hey, I got the shot, I got the mask, and meanwhile they're like, yeah, and they're drinking. It's just like, dude, I don't know if you know, but like COVID's a lung disease. You may want to stop smoking, possibly. I don't know, but it's almost laughable. It's just like, I got a shot. Hey, now I can go and do whatever and have a crazy bad lifestyle. And, you got to kind of help things a little bit. But anyways, what say you, Magnus?
Yeah, I mean, like with healthcare, look at the name, health care. What we're trying to do here is keep you guys and ourselves out of the hospital and the healthcare, and because if you're healthy enough to stay out of the hospital, you're doing something right. And like seeing that long term, like because that it's more excuse my language, shit is gonna happen the older we get. So the more you put into actually being healthy and working on your lifestyle, the less of an issue you're gonna have. So you brought it up, like stress management, sleep, not just that, your relationship with other people, so many things. Trying to get the toxicity out of your life and get good things into your life, because that is going to improve your health.
100%. And it makes me laugh too, because during the lockdown, forget it. Everybody and their mother was drinking, you name whatever, vodka, beer, liqueurs, scotch. And I'm like, again, I'm not a doctor, but last time I checked, alcohol is a vasoconstrictor. And that's what COVID does. It vasoconstricts. So you drinking all throughout the lockdown, you're helping COVID. Like, it's almost laughable, So it's just like, but no, I got my shot, and back to drinking and whatever, and eating cheese doodles and cake and cookies and sitting and not going outside getting fresh air. It's just, I don't know. And I think also whatever, so my thing is like, it's incumbent upon us to, yeah, whatever, no problem. Follow your doctor's orders, get your whatever vaccines, don't lick doorknobs. But it has to go beyond that.
Yeah.
And I get it. Athletes and famous, whatever, you could be the most fit person and you can die of COVID. I get that. But let's be honest, who's dying of COVID? And they don't deserve to die of COVID. I'm just saying, as an observation, and to help ourselves. And that is, you have to give yourself the best amount of odds, not only COVID, but any virus, any bacterial. But it's just funny because, again, it's like, get your shot, wear your mask. Hey, go back to drinking and smoking and eating crap food and sitting and doing. It's like, I wish our government would have done a better job of pushing that too, not just, get your shot and wear your mask, which is okay. It's important, but what about stop? Or maybe put a moratorium on smoking and drinking and maybe the crap food. No, because that's like sugar. You think sugar? Drinking soda and sugar. That's not good for your cardiovascular system, which, again, COVID is a cardiovascular disease by way of the pulmonary system, your lungs. And so, blah, blah. It's sad that I kind of know this, and I'm just a DJ from New Jersey. I shouldn't know this, but it's like, whatever. Anyways, so anything else you want to add to that, though?
Yeah, like looking at it, I think that we're missing the big picture, and the big picture is our declining health. Yeah, we're in the best time of human history to live, and yet we have so many people that have horrendous health. We have all the food we want. We have like housing, we have protection, we have everything, but we just kind of waste that by our lifestyle choices. And that's what I want to point out, like trying to take a step back and look at the big thing. So my sister, this is funny. My sister sent me a text this morning, and she pointed out that there are 3 times more people dying in Sweden from heart and cardiovascular issues than COVID. And no one is bringing that up.
Bro.
And there's a couple of things. Those things are not like contagious. I get that. So it's not comparable. But sometimes we're not really looking at like where the major problems is. And the heart and cardiovascular health, it's something that's been ongoing for like close to 50 years now. And it's getting worse. And we're not talking about that because like telling people that, hey, maybe you should move more. Hey, maybe you should eat healthier, things like that. We're not talking about that, which I find is kind of insane. But again, people, listen, I'm not trying to say anything that COVID is not something that you should think of. It's a horrendous virus. Don't get me wrong. You need to protect yourself from it, but you also need to like look at the overall health, trying to like build your own like armor to protect you from all kind of diseases.
Yeah.
And that's why we need to look at it a little bit like deeper than what we're doing right now.
100%. By the way, you mentioned, you're right, heart disease in Sweden and America. America's the king of heart disease. And so let me just say this. So you're talking to a couple of friends of mine who are physicians and they work in the ER and stuff. The problem with COVID is there are diseases that kill far more than COVID does, but it's just that a COVID, it's more acute, hits hard, hits fast, and clogs up the emergency rooms. Then other people can't go to the emergency room for their broken leg or cancer surgery because the COVID people are clogging up the works. And it's not their fault, but that's just the way it is. So that's why COVID's more of a problem. So if COVID was strung out, and didn't happen all at one shot, then it wouldn't be so much of a problem because our hospitals can take the workload. But when you have, I was talking to a friend of mine who's a physician, and he was saying that right now, in his hospital right now, all the emergency room beds are all COVID. So now what happens if someone comes in with just a regular old heart attack, or someone comes in with fractured skull? Sorry, we ain't got a bed for you because all the COVID people are taking it up. So that's the problem with COVID. But to your point though, you mentioned heart disease. So last year alone, I think it was a down year. Last year alone, 686,000 Americans died of heart disease. Okay. Now, you had mentioned it's not airborne, but I would make the argument that's even more scary. So COVID has a head start on heart disease. Heart disease is not airborne. It's not communicable. And heart disease in total numbers has killed more than COVID ever will ever. So, but nobody blinks an eyelash. It's just like, heart disease has been killing about, give or take, 700,000 Americans since the late 70s. Every 12 months, 700,000 dead. 700,000, every year, every 12 months, 700,000 approximately Americans die since the 70s. Every year, 700,000, 700,000, 700,000. Far many people have died and will die of heart disease than anything COVID could ever do. And it's not even airborne. COVID has a head start, and heart disease is still more deadly. Nobody blinks an eyelash. It's like, okay, it's like, damn, but it's because heart disease and the death is strung out over not in one acute, shot like COVID was. So it's okay to die then, as long as it's strung out, but if it's all acute at one time, like COVID, then you get everybody's attention. So it's kind of, misleading a little bit. Both are serious, no doubt, but it's a shame. To your point, talk about epidemics and pandemics and crises. The heart attack crisis, type 2 diabetes is just devastating our country. But because the deaths are strung out, not a problem.
And we can look at this too. Like look at the factors of getting heart disease or getting type 2 diabetes and things like that. That is centering around of inflammation and actually how much body fat you're carrying around. Right. So, and it's the same thing. And that's why you're seeing a problem too. People that already are sick, that has heart failure or disease or anything like that, that are type 2 diabetes and all those things, maybe smokers, things like that. Those are the people that also have a bigger risk of getting COVID. So there is a correlation between those things too. And I think it's important that we need to think about that. But let's segue into our next kind of topic, that a lot of people, when it comes to heart diseases or diseases that we have that are basically lifestyle induced, we're just trying to make pills for it.
Supplements,
and you see that with like the same thing with like supplements and all those things too. And again, I understand the doctors don't have much time with each patient, and it's like, well, it's easier to just here's a prescription, boom, out, instead of, hey, maybe you should actually eat better, move more, and all those things, but it's hard. And it's another fun thing to that in Sweden you can actually prescribe physical activity.
I was saying that, you heard me with the dietitian last week. We had a dietitian on yesterday. I was like, why doctors don't, fine, here's your prescription for your pills. Oh, and by the way, here's a card or a reference or a script to go see a dietitian or a they don't do that. No one's asking the doctor to sit there and tell us about nutrition because most of them don't know. But come on, you couldn't write a script or a note or here's a business card or here, call this it's crazy, man. It really is, but yeah, to your point. I didn't know that in Sweden, they can prescribe you to go get a trainer or get up off your tuchus.
Yeah, or at least like move around. You should take X amount of steps per day. That's what we prescribe, and you should be out in nature and move around. And there's a lot of like healthcare that they have yoga or other things to help. Like for instance, people that cancer victims, that they are able to go like rehab and do activities and feel in a group and actually move around and work on that. So hopefully that will catch on. The cost might be a little bit more to start out with, but long term,
in the duration, it's cheaper, 100%.
Way cheaper.
But you got big pharma that, of course, they're going to make sure, wink, wink, that the doctor's always going to write that script. And again, I understand sometimes we do need pills, understood. But I guess the dietitian's lobby is not as strong as big pharma's lobby. That's what it comes down to in America. So, by the way, speaking of supplements.
Yeah.
But did you want to add anything else before?
No. Like, why kick a dead horse? We're like,
no pun.
We are going to kick a dead horse because this is going to continue every single time when we talk, basically. Yeah. Because repetition is what actually makes people change. So
yeah.
This is not the last time you're hearing this from us.
Right.
Let's go to supplements instead.
Yeah, man. And we all need to do our best to work on listen, I have a lot of improvement that I need to do too. I'm not some perfect eater and perfect, fitness dude.
I'm with you on that one, buddy.
I know I look amazing, but anyways, I got a lot of work I got to do. So supplements, I'm on the fence about supplements. Sometimes I take them, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I take them, sometimes I don't. generally speaking, I probably lean away from them. And I'm not saying anything good or bad. You do you, everyone. But I think if you're eating right, if you're getting, proper nutrition, proper rest, because it's like we talked about this last time, especially at the far end of supplements, like I got a big vat of muscle crank, muscle burn, protein, and you get in there and you're drinking it, and it's like what are you doing? Your body can only handle so much protein, you moron. Like you're pissing half. You're probably pissing 98% of that bottle away. Your kidneys can't even process all that protein or whatever the heck you fat burn, and 19 million milligrams is vitamin C.
Like you can also look into, like, when you look at the the nutrition information on the back, and then with something when they actually have a daily value, and it's like 800% of your daily value. I'm
right.
Really?
Right. Like, but in America, we're all about, hey, it says 800%. It's amazing. I'm 800% better than everybody else.
I'm going to double it. I'm going to do 600.
That's America, especially with dudes. You know this. You're a jock. So am I. You get in, forget it. I cringe about the locker room stuff. Never mind the locker room talk, but just the machismo. Oh, right. You're on 8,000 milligrams of that. Yeah, I'm on 16,000. Oh, yeah, I'm on 52,000. It's a pissing match, no pun intended, which is irony because you're pissing it all away too. But we like the idea of I bought it. And this is a magic bullet. And, it's like, shut up, whatever. Anyways, by the way, go ahead.
So this is funny. So I'm on some Facebook groups that are like talking about fat loss and things like that. And it's so funny how bad it is. It's basically everybody's talking about, lose weight without changing your diet and no exercise at all. And then like, just try this supplement out. And then you're like, really? And again, it's like, yeah, it's awesome because you get hooked to using it, and it's not going to be that effective to start out with. And you're not going to get a sustainable or long-term results, but everybody wants that quick fix and just like, the next magic thing, this is what the Hollywood stars are doing. No, Hollywood stars are having a nutritionist. They're having a private chef. They're having a personal trainer. They're having a massage therapist.
You don't see that.
They're having whatever they need. They have it, right? Because there's so much money in that, and no one is talking about that.
Right.
Oh no, I have this like detox tummy tea or whatever they're talking about. Like, get real. I mean, it's.
Oh, by the way. I'm sorry.
It's not. I mean, it's not gonna happen. Like, if you want sustainable change, you need to change your lifestyle. I'm sorry to say that it might come as a shock to people or like a slap in their face. I'm not trying to be mean or cruel or anything like that. But the biggest impact that you can do is actually changing your lifestyle.
100%. And to people that are watching. Just a reminder, I mean, Magnus has a PhD in biochem. You are an athlete. You are a former competitive athlete in your primary school, I'm sure high school, college. So am I. I still compete in tennis tournaments, triathlons now, not in the past. I have a tennis coaching service. Now, am I saying I'm the expert? No, but I'm saying I know something about being healthy in nutrition, and I want to be at my maximum that I can. I'm not taking the big vat of 10,000 milligrams of whatever. And here's the scary thing. You probably know this, Magnus, but I didn't know this till recently. Supplements do not have to be cleared by the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. So all supplements can make any claim they want. They can say whatever they want, and they're not held liable because they're a supplement. Now, if they try to qualify as a medicine, then the bar is much higher. So all you got to do is say supplement, good to go. And then you'll hear, well, no, these supplements are checked by a third party. Oh, really? Who's paying the third party? The supplement manufacturer. So what do you think the third party is going to say? They're going to say, yeah, supplement, that company's fine. You really do need an outside entity that is not being paid by the supplement company to verify those supplemental claims. And 99.9999999% of these supplement companies are not. So, it's dangerous. You got to be careful. I think it's one thing to take a multivitamin, but when you're getting into like, these big vats of stuff and I'm taking this liquid thingy and I'm going to, man, you better you better check with a pharmacist, maybe check with, of all things, a pharmacist, not your doctor. Call a pharmacist, call a dietitian, find a chemist. Don't go online, like, because some fancy schmancy celebrity said it. Like, what is the celebrity's background in? Don't believe me. Don't believe Magnus. Talk to your pharmacist. Talk to your physician even, but your dietitian, because most of the stuff in this, and I've taken it too, the big powder thingies and the liquid to burn the fatty thingy, it's just the side effects, man. You're messing with your life. Not that you're going to die, but I mean, it's just, plus a lot of it.
We don't even have to dig that far. Let's look at the energy drinks, for instance.
Right. Another one.
So and that's also a supplement. Like we're looking at it. So there's usually a lot of stimulants in those things. Like you have taurine, like an amino acid that helps out. You have a lot of caffeine in those things. So basically, what those things do, they basically heighten your central nervous system, so you feel more energetic. Your body's not producing more energy or anything like that. There are very few actually supplements that help out. There's like a couple of supplements that have L-tyrosine in it, that is actually a precursor to adrenaline and a whole lot of other those kind of stimulant chemicals that actually like helps a little bit, and also some that are like mushroom based that actually increase the basically intake of oxygen into your mitochondria. So in layman's terms, what that means is like the oxygen that you need to produce energy in your cells goes into the power plant, the mitochondria of the cell, and actually make the mitochondria produce more energy. So those are usually more expensive and harder to find, but they work. But I'm not a big fan of those energy drinks or stimulants. Anyway, I'm usually saying, like, if you're that tired, maybe you should start sleeping more.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Some people can't, or that they're addicted to caffeine, but you need to kind of look at yourself, like, do you need a ton of those energy boosters? There are tons of supplements too, like nitric oxygen boosters and everything like that.
Right.
Do you need that as a non non-athlete? We're talking about the general population, just to lift like 10 more pounds.
Right.
For me, it's like, it's insane. And usually you end up getting injured because your body and your ligaments and your muscles are not strong enough. It's just that the stimulation makes you be able to lift more weights that you probably shouldn't be doing anyway, because you're already tired.
Right. Yeah. So, but sleep is not sexy. And, sleep is also important to reset your colon and your stomach and your gut biome. You need sleep not only for rest, but to reset your body.
Hormone health and mental health.
100 on top of that. Right. Yeah. Mental health, sleeping. It's important. But again, it's not sexy. I better just take the pill in the bottle and it's more because it looks cool. No, just sleep for 8 hours. And you can say, I ain't got time. No, well, you sleep's important. You got to make time for it. It's not lazy. It's getting refueled. But it's not sexy. So who wants to sleep? Yeah. I was gonna say the so the supplements and all that stuff. Or if you want protein, again, it's what we eat: chicken, eggs, whatever, vegetables. I mean, that's what your body needs, and your body will take what it needs, and it's balanced because it's from God. It's God made, not man made.
And another thing to add on top of that, like, there's difference between protein powders and protein powders. Like, you have the weight gainer or the slim products or whatever it is. That is completely different from when you're basically getting a pure, like, protein, plant-based, or if it's whey or whatever you're eating. But there's difference of what you get, like, looking into it. Does it have a ton of additives, like sweeteners, colors and things like that? You don't need that. What you need is kind of the purest thing you can get if you're going to eat, like, supplements.
And to your point, that's if you're going to go into competitive whatever. You're a pro athlete, you're a collegiate athlete. I would say high school kids should probably stay away from it because high school kids, your body's still developing. But anyways, but But if you're just, guy, girl in the gym, you want to look good, that's great. But man, like I said, you're messing with some stuff. And I would say no matter who it is, even if you're a pro athlete, talk to your pharmacist, talk to your dietitian, talk to your doctor. Make sure, like, maybe get some blood work done to make sure that you're not hurting your spleen, your liver, your kidneys. You don't know what this powder is doing or not doing. It may be building muscle, but it also may be hurting your kidneys. Now, how do you know that? You need blood work done. So if you really want to be serious, go get the blood work done. Like what?
No, I mean, it's like before you start using a ton of different supplements, you should probably go and have a good panel of testing, and then we can actually bring that up sometime too. What you can kind of like look into, what you should ask your doctor, which tests you should take, so you can get good results, because there's a lot of different blood works that are like, some of them are just a waste of time. Other ones are top notch that you should look into. So no, for sure. And again, like supplements is an interesting topic too. So we should probably come back to it.
Yeah. And I'm not saying don't take them. I've taken them on and off throughout the years, so I'm not against, but it just, you have to do your homework, talk to, again, dietitian, talk to a pharmacist, talk to your doctor. Anyways, but moving on, because I want to respect your time. We talked about the story about death pods that Switzerland now, it's kind of an old news story, but it came back on my news feed, that Switzerland has made legal, or it's been legal for a while, assisted suicide. And they make, this company makes a pod. You get in the pod and it just slowly takes out the oxygen and you just pass away, that's it, gently, and that's it. Now, I think people who hear the headline, it's like, oh my God, they're killing people just to kill people. This is insane. Suicide for just killing people. That's not what it is. If you read the story, it's people who are typically, not exclusively, but usually, they're 95, they're 110, they got a terminal illness. They're not getting out of this one, and they're in much, much suffering. Like that. Or it's somebody, it could be in their 30s or 40s or 50, an adult that, again, they've gotten multiple expert opinions from doctors and, this terminal disease, and they're suffering and they're about to die, in a week or two, and they're in much, much pain and suffering. That's their choice in the countries of Belgium, Canada, Luxembourg, Netherlands, New Zealand, Spain, and Switzerland, if they want to have assisted passing or death. But you hear suicide and it makes it sound like they're just snatching healthy people off the street and people just kill themselves for fun. That's not what it is. Now, to each his own. You got to do what's right for your family and your and there's multiple religious beliefs and things like that. So that come into play with someone's decision. We all have to do what's right for ourselves and our families and within our belief systems and stuff like that. So I'm not preaching to anybody. You just do what you need to do. I'm just saying it was a story. And, unless you know someone who has suffered, I've known a few people who have suffered so badly. And that's not for me to tell them that they have to keep on suffering. It's not for me to tell them that they shouldn't, maybe if they're in those countries, have that pod that they can go and have a, what do they call that? Hospice almost, but the pod ends their life peacefully. So again, I'm not casting judgment on anybody. I haven't been in those shoes. Let's just put it that way. Or I have been in those shoes with people in my life. But it's a decision I think that people will have to make. And all I'm saying is I'm not casting judgment on, like, how dare you? It's not, again, you hear the story, it sounds like they're just people killing themselves for fun. That's not what it is, So
I think it's a very, very important topic that definitely should be brought up more. So personal experience, my dad got cancer, and like it's rough. Like it was rough, that whole thing, and he actually started looking into it. It's not legal in Sweden, so he was actually looking into how, if he were able to travel to these countries around Europe where it is legal and all those things. It never happened, but at least he looked into that option. And we're talking about the individual's choice, like especially like here in the States, the individual's choice. And I think that comes down to it. It's an individual's choice, and I would never judge someone that is in so much pain that they're fed up with this. They don't want to do it anymore. So I mean, another thing, we can talk about my grandma, like getting close to 97, and when I talked to her, like at the end of when she was getting older, like 90 plus, she's like, well, it's starting to get kind of boring because everybody that I grew up with or my friends are dead. Like, and the people the people that like that are around me now, they're old, but they're like 20 years younger than me. So like she like living a full life and feeling like I'm at the end of it and it's not that much fun anymore. Like, and you're sick.
Yeah, and I think the article talks about that you have to have multiple experts give you like you can't just walk into this pod and end your life. It has to there's several layers of whatever it is, experts or physicians that you have to because I think it's one thing to your point, like you're old, but you may be old and very healthy. I don't think that you qualify in these countries for that procedure. But if it's you're either old and about to die and you're suffering, or you're young and you're suffering and there's no way out of it, you're going to die, then you would be a candidate, so to speak, for this procedure. And again, it's, I will say this, I do know people who, and the point is, it's no one's forcing you to go into this pod, because I do know people who had cancers that were supposed to be like terminal or very, very bad, and they beat them and they're fine now. They're out playing hockey and throwing frisbees around. And you could say, well, you see, maybe they would have made that choice and went to the pod and they would have ended their life. And you see that person beat the odds. That's true, but I think the gist of the story is giving someone that it's their life. They're going to make that call, not for the government or for someone else to tell them. And certainly, if you're 110 or whatever it is, 120, and you have this terminal disease, it's different again than a 20-year-old having to make that call. But again, if it's like there's just no way out of this and it's very, very clear, let's be mature about this. Not someone getting a diagnosis. It's somebody that already has whatever disease, and it's just they're going to die. It's clear. And it's about the pain and the suffering and the torture. I haven't been in that shoe myself, but I have had loved ones, and they just passed away, which is also funny because the doctors will pump them full of morphine or whatever, and essentially they're dead. Like they don't feel anything. Like and I've seen that. It's just like, so what's that? That's not assisted suicide. Like you essentially just killed everything because they can't feel, they can't smell, they're not cognizant. They're making them comfortable. Well, wink, wink. Like you killed them, like, you know what I'm saying? But you're just making it easier for them to pass on. So there's a real gray area there. There's a real gray line. And I'm just, the article is just talking about giving people the choice and the freedom to make that decision if they're in that terminal state. And I don't know what I would do. I'm just
I want to add this, like we're not bringing this topic up to be like that it's not something with religious or politics or anything like that. It's just an interesting question on at the end of someone's life, if it should be an option or not. Like, again, we're not pro or against it. It's just a fact. We just want to discuss it. And like, I know a lot of people, like when we're talking about also like unassisted death, when we have someone that is basically kept alive by machines and things like that. That's also kind of
that's a weird, interesting thing too, right?
Then you're not even making that decision yourself.
How about that one?
That's actually like your relatives or close one that has to do that.
Pulling the plug.
Yeah.
Right, because now you're being kept alive by machines, so it's kind of a default pod assisted suicide in an inverted way.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So I mean, do we keep you alive at all costs? Because modern medicine can. We can keep the heart going, the blood going. We'll put you on 9 different machines. So or this is kind of the reverse of that, though. You're in the pod. You're dying, and it's a moral question. It's a religious question. And again, I don't know what I would do. And I think my thing is, unless you've been in someone's shoes or unless you had to make that decision, I would say it's best to just maybe reserve judgment, because I haven't walked in those shoes. And if someone else hasn't, it's easy for me to cast judgment. I haven't been there. I don't know. I don't know what I would do is the answer. But
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting option that they're giving people. And anyways, so.
It's I mean like it's a super complex and tough question. So again, we're not saying any like definite answers, anything like that. I just think that it's it's good to have this conversation about it, that it actually exists in certain countries and it might be available, like coming in, like being a more a normal option down the road.
Right.
And I mean, we don't know in the future, we might just be a meat sleeve that way. Okay, change body.
Right.
I mean, like a sci-fi movie, we don't know. But anyway, like I think it's important that at least like be a little bit open-minded and also like don't judge people for seeking this out, you know.
We haven't been there, and if you have, then you know. But by the way, get your wills done, everybody. I mean, I know I had my will done many years ago, actually in my late 20s. You know, it's a morbid thing, it's scary, it's dark, but you need to get your will done, especially if you have children or family that are dependent on you, or you know, or people that are dependent on you, because if you don't put directive in, then your government is going to decide what happens to you. Or you know, if you're married, okay, but again, you want to have directive. It's a scary thing, I get it. I'm the biggest chicken on earth. I didn't like to do this, but I was like, you know, I want to make sure that my wishes are carried out after I pass. And I also have things in there if I am incapacitated, so I do have my wishes put out there. It's a conversation to have with. I had that with my father and mother, and it's a hard conversation. But you know, this is not fairyland. This stuff happens, and we need to talk about it. Even if nothing gets done, at least start the conversation.
It's a pretty adult conversation, I would say, and I think that you're definitely right. Like this is something that you should bring up and be ahead of the game. It's the same thing. Like actually, you know, before like. Funeral and friends. I mean, like it's kind of nice going to a funeral when they speak about the person that passed away, nice things. Like, why not trying to tell them face to face when they're still alive?
Yeah.
Instead of like when they passed away. That's another thing. Like remember, and this is not something that has to be like so morbid. It's just saying like, hey, dude, I love you. Or like, you have been such a great influence on me, and you were so funny, or like your like tweaks and twerks are like, it makes me laugh, and you're like, we're saying like there's nothing like bad about saying that to people when they're still alive, you know.
Yeah, well, you're right.
And like I know, I mean, I'm getting older, I'm not getting younger, and like being able to be open and caring and telling people that you love them and all that, like and meaning it, that is also something that like I think like when we leave this life, I think that is also something that you kind of feel proud about yourself, that you had those conversations and you told people about it, how much you care about them and everything, and actually putting it into words and hugging people and all those things. We all need it. Like we all need that. We need to be like feeling like we're part of a family or a group or a tribe or whatever it is, and that people cares about us and that we care about other people too.
Oh, you're 100% right. And unfortunately, we have to experience the passing of some people in our life, multiple people in our life, for us to finally get it in our head. Hey, I better start saying I love you to the people that I do care about, or I miss you, or give them a hug. And I think that's only brought to our attention when we lose one or two or three or four or five or six or seven people in our lives. You know, if you haven't lost, generally speaking, you know, but I'm saying is, once you've lost someone, then I think you get that, you know, or it drives the point home, because we all know it in theory. But then when you lose that someone close to you, it's like, oh, damn. I wish I said I loved you more. You know, I wish I hugged them more. I wish I was more patient. And it takes the loss of a loved one to really drive that home to us, you know, because in theory, we all know that. Yeah, I know. I got to say I love you. No. But when you lose that someone, or you lose two people or three people over a course of years, then it's like, oh, you know, and circling all the way back to the beginning, think COVID has brought that to light, you know, and made us check ourselves like, hey, man, what's important, you know? Kind of a silver lining to a very grim situation that the world is experiencing still. But anyways, in closing, Magnus, did you want to add anything? Oh, by the way, please plug your service and your Facebook stuff. Let her rip, Magnus.
Yes. So I have a Facebook group. We're talking about nutrition, health, fat loss, all those things. Join in. There's like a bunch of fun people there too. Ask questions, get new knowledge, more information. And if you're interested in working, I work as a nutrition coach. I haven't mentioned that much. If you're interested in working with me and changing your lifestyle and getting a banging body, as people like to say, and show it off on the beach, or just feeling good in clothes, or just feeling good and happy, let me know. You can reach me through that group, or if you add a comment here, I'll try to reach out to you I'll reach out to you and we can start a conversation and see how I can help you.
Yeah, put your information in the links below to your Facebook page. I know you did that in the past. Yeah. And was there anything else that you want to add before we sign off, Magnus, about the...
We should plug you, DJ Anthony. Like that's important too. Are you still guys doing the Christmas drive and all that?
Oh, I am actually. Yeah. I mean, I guess it could apply to anywhere in the country. People can send in donations, but so we're doing something here in the Bergen County, New Jersey area for children and families that are struggling this particular Christmas. There's always families struggling, but anyways, it's a food drive, but we're doing it via food cards to like local supermarkets or Walmart or Target. And so if you're in the Bergen County area, my friends that are watching this on Facebook, you can contact me. And December 16th, myself and one of my other DJs, actually 3 of us, we're going to go to a family center in Bergen County in Englewood and drop off food cards to families with children from newborn to 3 years old to help them, because food prices, as you know, have gone up through the roof. And it's, you know, relatively easy if you have a good job or you have means, but a lot of families across our country, particularly now where I am, I'm doing this food drive with one of my colleagues. And so we're going to be dropping off food cards to supermarkets or the chains, Walmart or Target, in the minimum of $5, maximum of $10, to go to these families so they can have a little bit extra to eat, or buy toiletries, diapers. That's why we want to do the cards to the stores like the Walmarts and Target. Gives the families an option to buy diapers or toothpaste or whatever. It's sad, man. You know, it's like we're in America, the greatest, strongest, most richest country in the world, most richest. And it's like, I wish I didn't have to do this food thing, you know. This is like what country we're living in, but that's what makes America so great too. You know, we come together, we help each other out. So it's you know, it's
people like you guys that help out too. That's like that amazing. And yeah, and again, if you don't have the money but you have time, you can always help people too. Like with that way too.
Anywhere, yeah. It doesn't. I'm nobody special. I mean, anybody can do what I'm doing, and many people do. You know, so big shout out to everyone that's donating this year. And I think we should. My opinion, I think you would agree. You know, all of us should always help out every day throughout, or every whatever throughout the year. Shouldn't be just the holidays, but the holidays are a good start. And again, I'm just doing my little part, and I know that so many people out there watching do for their communities too. So thank you. And but yeah, man, so that's it. And it's going to be a great Christmas because we're going to help others. And that's what I think life's about, is being a service to others, because it's not us just helping, but we get help too. We feel good, and it's a win-win. They win, we win. It's just an awesome time. So anyways, but yeah, thanks everybody. Hey, hit the like and subscribe. I've become that guy. I got to beg everybody. I'm insecure. I need more subscribers. We got nothing over. We're dying over here. We got nobody over here. We need subscribers. So hit the like, smash the like, and do the subscribe, and please follow us, man, please. So anyways, that's that. I got to get better clothing. I look too professorial here. I got to get, you got the hack. I'm coming back with, I got to just, on the next show, I got to go shopping. I don't know what's going on here, but people don't believe me. I'm a DJ. They're like, you're not a DJ. You look like an accountant. All right. Anyways, Magnus, man, thank you again. And thanks everybody for watching, and have a good rest of the week. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Be safe, guys.
Thanks. 3, 2, 1, ending broadcast.